Hi everyone, welcome to another lovely Kanikapila with me, Matt Stead, a live ukulele jam. And tonight we're going to do the songs of Laurel Canyon in Los Angeles, 1965 to 1975. I'll tell you all about the place and tell you all about it soon. So, loads of fun ukulele songs. Grab your uke, let's have loads of fun. How you all doing tonight? I'm just gonna have a look through some of the comments. I wasn't on the. Normally I log in earlier to check on the comments and see how everyone's doing, but I didn't quite have time today. So hi guys, hope you're all doing well. Indrani says good evening, merry uke players. Esther's got a cow logo, fantastic. Charlene's here. Oh, that Joni Mitchell song we're doing is beautiful, Charlene. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. So yeah, fantastic. Hi Peter, hope you're doing well. Captain Chaos reporting in, love it. As always, don't worry if it's a little bit unbuffering at the start. Always happens every week, but then it always calms down. So just hang in there. Hi Lisa, hi Mike. There we go. Hope you're doing well. Hi Karen. So tonight, as I say, we're doing the there we go. Okay. Hiya, Karen. Tonight we're doing the songs of Laurel Canyon. Hi, John. Hi, Bev. Oh, Bev, I got that payment come through. Thank you. Brand new, well, not quite brand new, but a brilliant new Forest Uke on its way to you soon. Hi, Chris. I run out of space to put everyone on tonight. Amazing. So tonight we're doing the songs of Laurel Canyon. And for those that don't know, you might think, what on earth is he talking about? The songs of Laurel Canyon. Laurel Canyon was a canyon up in the hills, just up from Hollywood. It was only kind of 10 minutes from Sunset Strip and all that. So it's kind of really close to where the scene was happening at that time down in LA. Hi, Vicky. And at that time, the rents in Laurel Canyon were really, really cheap. So loads of musicians that made hi Chris, that made their living, and they would hang out on Sunset Boulevard. Sunset Strip would live up in Laurel Canyon, and it kind of created this community of musicians starting around about 1965 and went through to about 1975, where sadly lots of kind of tragic events like Altamont and things like that, and the kind of, I guess, the death of the kind of hippie movement, if you like, kind of changed things. But everyone who is everyone on the west coast of America lived there during that period. So you have people like David Crosby and Jim McGuinn from the Byrds. You had Frank Zappa and A Mother's Invention. You had Mama Cass and some others of the Mamas and Papas. Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees lived up there. Joni Mitchell, who Graham Nash moved in with at one point from Crosby, Stills and Nash. And well, the list really is almost endless. It goes on and on. Even Brian Wilson, one of my favourites from the Beach Boys, moved up there for a short while. And it was this really creative hub where musicians would get together and share ideas, really free and easy. And out of that came these really beautiful songs. So we're going to look at some gorgeous songs from that time period. We're going to look at some songs from Crosby, Stills and Nash, Joni Mitchell, all sorts of things like that. And just to say, if you haven't done it before, I'll put the sheets up on the screen, but the link is in the description as well. Hopefully the sound's working all right today, guys. Is it sounding okay? Hi, John. Hope you're keeping well, mate. So let's put up. Oh, by the way, John, you'll like this. I saw my first butterfly today, and it wasn't a hibernating one. Well, it kind of was. So small tortoise shells hibernate over the winter, but this one flew into the barn, and it was really sunny here earlier, so it was obviously out enjoying, perhaps trying to find a bit of early nectar or enjoying the sunshine, perhaps trying to find an early female. He'll come out properly in March or April, but yeah, it's really fun. It's my first butterfly of the year, so that's exciting. Just one more quick reminder before we get started that this Wednesday we've got my next live lesson as well. So this is all about jazzing up the blues. So how we take 12 bar blues And this actually happened in history, and gradually it was changed to become more sophisticated. So things like diminished sevenths were added, and these lovely 2-5-1 progressions. So we're going to take a really simple 12-bar blues, play it instrumentally, and then gradually jazz it up. And not only will you learn how that happened, you'll learn new chords that you can use in all of your songs, new techniques, and you'll learn some of these progressions that actually happen in Kanikapila quite a lot. So I think you'll find this quite useful. This one's this Wednesday, 3:30 UK time, if you can sign in. So yeah, brilliant. Much love to Esther, and a massive thanks to Karen, who stepped into the breach to do the sheets for us this week. So massive thanks, Karen. They're looking absolutely lovely, and I hope you're doing well, Esther. Okay, right. So let's have a look at our first sheet, and most of you know how this works by now, but I'll just explain the Nashville numbers as well. So the Nashville numbers are a way of being able to play songs in any key and to try to really kind of learn it off by heart. So the reason they're called Nashville numbers is that it was basically invented in Nashville at the Grand Ole Opry, where singer-songwriters would explain to a scratch band the chords to their songs quickly and easily. And what we do is we name chords after the intervals in a scale. So like C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Well, we name the chords after those numbers. So C is 1, D, which tends to be a D minor 2, E tends to be an E minor 3, F is 4, G is 5, A minor is 6, and B diminished is 7. So we get these 7 chords that come up all the time, and each of them has their own voice. This is a really lovely classic example. So we're going to have a look at Teacher Children. This is Crosby, Stills and Nash. And they were really entwined in the fabric of Laurel Canyon, because Graham Nash was seeing Joni Mitchell for a while, wasn't he? And he actually wrote this song, Graham Nash, in 1968, whilst he is still a member of the Hollies. But when they came to play out in LA, he was introduced to Mama Cass from the Mamas and Papas, and she took him up to Laurel Canyon, where he met David Crosby from the Byrds. And that's kind of how the early part of Crosby, Stills and Nash came together. So this was actually intended to be a Hollies song, but by the time he got round to recording it, they'd broken up and he was with Crosby, Stills and Nash. A great song, Teach Your Children Well. I was actually watching this recently there's a lovely BBC concert on the iPlayer if anyone's interested. Just a really short, sweet set by Nash and David Crosby. I think it is from about 1970 at the BBC. It's well worth digging out, and they play this one. Really wonderful song. This one, the chords are really simple. It's based around what we call 1-4-5 chords. So that means the 1 chord is C. That's where we start out from. Then we've got the 4 chord. The 4 chord just adds a little bit of change in any key. In the key of C, it's F, C, D, E, F. Back to the 1 chord. Then we have the 5 chord, and the 5 chord tends to add a little bit of tension, like a little cliffhanger, which makes you want to go back to the start. That's basically it for the verses. Each of the boxes is a measure of 4 beats. We're actually going to play these almost like 2 measures, but we're going to count them in a long way, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, just like that. I'm strumming up and down with a kind of walk, running, running, running rhythm. Walk, running, running. Oh no, Indrana's saying BBC won't hit you into iPlayer if you're not in the UK. Oh, that's really annoying. I thought you could get it around the world. Oh, sorry, Indrani. Maybe you can find it on YouTube. I'll have a look later, see if it's up there. Okay, so walk, running, 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 down, down, up, down, up, down, up. We're actually going to strum that quite quick and do 2 per measure. If you're not into strum patterns, and I'm not big into strum patterns, as you know, just think of an up and down swing pattern. You don't even need to do walk, running, running, just... You could even just... Okay, down, up, down, up, down, up. We're going to count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2 and 3 and notice at the end of that measure, we've got this lovely diagram of two sus chords. Now a sus chord is where we take the third note of the chord in the G major chord. That's a B, G, A, B. Don't sweat the theory if you're not interested. But we take that B and we turn it either into the second note of the scale, which is an A, or the fourth note of the scale, which is a C. If we go to the second, it's a G sus2. If we go to the 4, it's a G sus4. Now the easy thing really is to do that, you either just add your little finger to the third fret of the A string for a G sus4, or you take away your second finger or whichever one you've got on the A string for a G sus2. And Crosby, Stills and Nash actually do this, but they use a D chord on a guitar. On a guitar, this exact shape is a D chord, and they just do D sus2 like this, or D sus4 like this. And it doesn't matter when you take your fingers on and off. You could do both, or you could do just the G sus4. And we're going to do that in another song later on, but just have fun with that. All right, that's all that means. So if we do just a verse, just to get us into it. Come in after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by. Now for 1. And so become yourself, because the past is such a good, just a goodbye even, sorry, just a goodbye. Okay. Now next up, we've got a chorus, and the chorus, guess what? It's exactly the same. Let's do a chorus so you can try it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Teach your children well. Your father's help did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams. The one they picks, the one you'll know by. Lovely, isn't it? Really, really simple. Then we come to the bridge, which is one more new part, still based largely around the 1, 4, 5 chords, only we have an A minor chord, the 6th chord, and that comes in just to create a little bit of melancholy. So we start with a C. Don't ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. Here's that A minor, just look at them and sigh. Now we have half a measure of F, half a measure of G, so quite a quick change. F, G, and know they love you. And it resolves to the C. Really beautiful. Let's try one chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, one bridge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh. 2, 3, 4. F, G, and know they love you. I just love this song. It's just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. Okay, right. Now, if you want to, you can solo on this one. And tonight, as long as we've got time, I'm going to talk a little bit more about soloing, because some of you have been doing this for a few months now and are really getting into it. And I thought we could look at some kind of specific techniques, ways of kind of spicing it up a little bit. So we're going to look at chromaticism later, and I'm going to look at a few ideas. So this one is the C major pentatonic. These are in your sheets in the back. Remember, the C major pentatonic is the same as the A minor pentatonic. It's relative minor. Again, don't sweat the theory. Oh, we'll have fun with these puzzles later. Karen's done us some puzzles. I haven't actually worked them all out tonight. So let's have a look. So we've got C major pentatonic. Look at the top there, just over here. And you can play any of the circles or what looks like C's on there. You can play any of those notes at all. The squares are the roots. That just means it's the C. And that was one of the things that I'd like to look at. I think it'd be really, really nice in your solos if you could kind of work back towards the root as you get to the end of this solo. Just before we do that, notice that with that C major pentatonic and A minor, they're both the same, okay? You can play all of the dots on your A string. I'm going to have to twist it this way because I realise I haven't got dots on my fretboard. But you can play the open A, you can play C, 3rd fret, you can play 5th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, and so on and so forth. Literally any fret that's got a dot on it, you can play on your A string. All right, and that's not a coincidence. It's part of the reason those dots are there in that order. Now, you can also play down here for the C major pentatonic. You could do 0-2 on the C string, 0-3 on the E string, and 0-3 on the A string. Okay, just have a little bit of fun with that. Now, as you're soloing to this, we're going to do this after the first bridge, okay? And we're going to do the chords to the chorus, which is the same as the verse, actually. What I want you to do tonight, if you can, as you're soloing away, I want you to work your way towards the C at the end of each section. So, see, I'm coming to an end of a section, so I work my way towards C. Now, when I get to the ends, keeping it really simple. Now here, do you see those last two notes? I don't know, as I got halfway through that, I thought this is a very long explanation because I got 40 seconds worth of things. So I just do that last bit again. As I'm coming towards the end, you'll hear the A minor coming in. That will give you a clue. You want to start getting ready to resolve. There it is. See how nice it sounds when I hit that C at the end. And that's what I want you to have a little experiment with tonight. We're going to work really hard on resolution. We're going to do it in a different context later on. But if you have a go at that solo, give that a go. Now, if you don't want to play the solos, if that's not your thing and you just want to strum along, that is totally cool as well. And whilst those lot are doing the solos, we're basically going to play one of the verses or chorus, means the same thing, and then one of the bridges, all right, as the others are soloing. If you are soloing, you're just going to solo away and come back in on a bridge. Make sure you're back in. No, I tell a lie, come back in on a verse. Okay, so once you come out that solo, straight into that second verse. The words in brackets, if you're singing along with me, those are the backing vocals. So if anyone wants to back me up, go for it. Go on, remember, only yourselves can hear you, no one else can, so just enjoy it. Right, let's have a crack. Let me just make this a bit smaller so you can see me. There we go. Okay. Should we just do a round of those verse chorus chords just to get us going? That's C, F, C, G, 1, 4, 1, 5. Let's have a go. 1, 2, 3, 4, C. And F. And C. And G. Here we go. Who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Same chords for a chorus. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picks, the ones you'll know by. Here comes our bridge. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. I the A string, all those dots, see? Let's do the chords to the bridge strummers, see? See? Now soloists, get ready, here's the A minor. Hit a resolution here. And back to C. Good. Let's roll a C, get everyone back in. Now we're going to do another verse after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You of tender years can know the fears your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the ones they fix, the ones you'll know by. Final bridge. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. I know they love you. Let's do one more bridge. Don't you ever ask them why, told you they would cry, so just look at them and sigh. I know they love you. Such a sweet little song, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. You can always tell the Graham Nash songs in this period because they're really kind of sweet. But when they're performed with Crosby's backing vocals and Stephen Stills as well, oh, they really come to life. There's a lovely documentary. In fact, if you can't get that concert I was telling you about, oh, I missed you. Hi, Margaret. I missed you. If you can't get that documentary I was telling you about on an iPlayer, there's the concert. Sorry, there's a really good documentary. I think it might be on Amazon Prime, or it might be Sky on Now TV. Have a look. It may even be on YouTube as well. There's a really brilliant 2-part Laurel Canyon documentary about all the people who lived there and you know, the history of the place and the songs. Really, really magical. Let me know how you got on with that one as well. So Mike says apparently his dog can hear him singing. Yeah, I'd have a few howling around here if they were with me, Mike. So yeah, really brilliant documentary. It was actually what gave me the initial idea for that Right to Reply Kanikapila we did a couple of months ago, where we did one by Joni Mitchell and then Graham Nash. We did Our House, didn't we? Which was really lovely. Talking of that, next up we're going to have a look at a song by Joni Mitchell. This is one of my absolutely favourite Joni Mitchell songs of all time. If I was stuck on a desert island, I would have to take probably Both Sides Now and River with me by Joni Mitchell. I just think they're both absolutely beautiful songs. My favourite two of hers, although there are many that you could choose. And this one's kind of interesting. I wrote down a few facts because I can never remember them. So this one was written, where are we? Now, where did I write down these facts is the question. Yeah, written in 1968, this one. And it wasn't actually released until her 1969 album, Clouds. And beautiful, beautiful song, obviously. But she gave it to Judy Collins. So Judy Collins was travelling over from New York a lot at this time and they were hanging out together. And Judy Collins put it on her album. I think it's the Wildflowers album. Someone can correct me if I've got that wrong. And it became a hit with Judy Collins. Collins, not Collins. Collins make brilliant ukuleles. That's where I've got that in my brain. But I loved Joni's version off a Clouds album is just absolutely beautiful. And I think it was it around 2000, something like that, she re-recorded it with this really beautiful orchestral backing, which is lovely. But I actually just prefer her and the guitar. I just think it sounds really clean and beautiful. This one's got some interesting chords in, but they're not too difficult. I'm going to kind of show you any that I think you might not know. So it's not too bad, this one. Indrana's been saying she's been trying to get a grip on this one. It's difficult to sing in one key for me. Yeah, it can. Yeah, they often are, aren't they, Indrani? But use those Nashville numbers. You could do it in another key. That's the beautiful thing about them, isn't it? So this one, we actually have quite a familiar progression. It looks a bit different because there's a couple of jazzy chords in there, but we're still using 1, 4, 5 chords. It's just we have some fancy pants ones in between. And basically we start out with something called a 1, 6, 4, 5 progression, which is really, really common in music. The 1 chord, in this case we're in the key of G, so 1 will be G, right? The 1 chord just kind of sets you off. Oh, I'm just going to tune up. I think I've gone out there. All my excitement of singing Crosby, Stills and Nash. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let me slightly adjust the A string. Okay, so the first chord 1 just sets you off, which is G in this case. Then we have a 6 chord. Now, a 6 chord is about introducing a touch of melancholy. It's not the saddest minor chord. The saddest minor chord, in my opinion, is the 3 chord, and we're going to have that in a song later on. But for now, we're going to do the 6 chord, which is kind of melancholy. Then we have the 4 chord, which brings us back to 1. Now we're just going to do a very gentle down strum like this for this one. Straight 8s, really, really simple. Thanks, guys. Mike, I agree with you totally. And Charlene, thank you, I got it right. Yes! Fantastic. So this one I'm just going to do a gentle down strum. You can either use your thumb or your nails, but keep it nice and light. So first bit, bow. I'm going to have to sing this loud. Bosom flows of angel hair. Really, really simple. 2 of each. 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Now we've basically got almost the same thing on the next 2 measures, only the 6 chord has been replaced with a major 7 of the 1 chord, which is just, oh, it's just absolutely beautiful, that is. So G major 7, we just flatten down against the 2nd fret, and C, and 5. Oh, I'm just going to check. Oh yeah, well done, Esther. Yeah, Esther, that's my mistake. Karen, that's not you. I actually sent it you as 6. I was obviously in the mode of C for that. Sorry guys, well spotted, Esther. So that A minor, it's the 2 chord. It's G, A minor, G, A, obviously, not the 6 chord. That's my bad. A minor is the 6 chord in the key of C, so I obviously still have my C hat on from the last song. So we're all friends, just pretend that first one says 2, alright? And any of the A minors, think of them as the 2 chords. But it's still A minor, don't worry, it's still A minor. So these next 2 measures, thanks Esther, I missed that. So G, flatten, and C, back to G. Then we've got almost like the first progression flipped around. Instead of G, A minor, C, it's G, C, A minor. G, C, A minor. This is the only chord that's happened so far for 4 measures, so keep it strumming. Now to add kind of a sense of, I think Joni Mitchell songs, I think they have this really ethereal, almost like a floating quality to them. And you'll notice she uses a lot of 7th chords, like a G major 7 instead of a G major. And here she's using an A minor 7 instead of an A minor. And it's only 1 note different. She literally just lifts this finger off. And it's got this really dreamlike quality to it. I think it's gorgeous. And then quite often we end a section with the 5 chord, don't we? Because it makes you want to go back to the start. Okay, let's try that. I'll stick on close, Cam. Sorry for the rude lady. It's a beautiful Chuck Moore ukulele, but she's it's a bit it's a, oh gosh, I don't want to say risque, but yeah. And I'm sorry if I've offended anyone. I'll cover it up next time. Okay, so we're going to go G, A minor, and C, and G. G, flatten, G major 7, and C, and G. G, and C, A minor, stay on that, finger off at A minor 7, and then a D. Let's try one more with some words. Bows and flows of angel hair, and ice cream castles in the air, and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way. Okay, and that's the verses, round and round like that. Absolutely beautiful. Do 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 do, Inspector Esther. I know, Esther. Seriously, you're gonna have to be. If I ever release another book, I think you're gonna be my proofreader because you're so good at this stuff. It's brilliant. Okay, let's have a look at the chorus then. Chorus is actually really simple. It's loads of 1 and 4 chords. Remember, 1 being home, just setting you off on a journey. 4 adding a little bit of change. And that's what we've got here. So we start with 4 lots of G, and then we just go C, G, C, G, C, G. Notice when I'm changing C to G that I like to keep this finger down because then I can just quickly flip between the two like that. Makes it really smooth. At the end of that, we have a B minor. That's the only tough one in this one. We've got a B minor chord. Okay, now if you find that real struggle, what you could do is do another of those G major 7s, because these 3 of a G major 7 are the same as the 3 strings in a B minor, aren't they? It's just in a B minor we have this one as well. So if you struggle with a bar chord, just strum the bottom 3, okay, of a G major 7, so rather than having the finger up there. But if you can, we've got this B minor chord here. C, whoops, sorry guys, G, and then just a C, really simple, and D. Okay, so let's put together one of those choruses. In fact, I'll stay on close cam for now. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Sorry, I forgot to go to the D. I don't know why I did that. Can I do that again? Get it right this time. Sorry, guys. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. We're going to resolve to that G at the end. Isn't that beautiful? Probably a lot more beautiful when Joni Mitchell sings it rather than me, but oh, really, if it doesn't touch you, I think you're a robot inside. This song's just wonderful. Now, I'm not going to go on too much about the solos on this one, but just to show you where they are, it's the G major pentatonic. You're probably seeing a pattern now, and the E minor pentatonic. And I like to pair them up, because if you pair them up, you get twice the amount of notes that you can play with. It's the same notes, just in a different place on the fretboard. So the bottom one here on this diagram, if you want to do the G major pentatonic, Regretting using a uke without side dots now. I'll tip it that way so you can see. G major pentatonic starts on the 7th fret of the C string. That's why we've got that square there, because it's the root of the G. And it goes up to 9, comes back to 7 on this string, E, over to 10, your next dot, back to the dot of 7, and to 10. Okay. And then the E minor is a similar shape. It's almost like it's been flipped over. The E minor pentatonic, we start on the 4th fret of the C string. We have a big gap up to the dot at 7. We jump over to the 5th fret, up to 7, 5th fret, up to 7. Okay. Now this song is a really gentle one, isn't it? And for the solo, what did I put? Oh, for the solo, we're going to do it after the 2nd chorus, and we're going to do it for an entire verse and chorus. So this is going to give you a lot of time to get into the solo. This is something that I'm trying tonight. If I'm doing this too much, let me know, guys, because I still want it to be heaps of fun. But I wanted to give people that are enjoying these solos a little bit more chance to express themselves. So we're going to play this solo over a whole verse and chorus. Now this time, when you're coming towards your resolution at the end of a verse and chorus, we don't want to go towards a G chord because we have the 5 chord. So you might want to head towards a D note. In this case, you could do a D note here, the 5th fret of the A string, or you could do a D note here where most of you know it, down here. We kind of want to resolve to that to give the feel of that 5 chord that's going on. The main thing on this one, however, again, I'm going to get into solo in more detail later on. I want you to make it really melancholic and don't do too many notes. It's really tempting to kind of get carried away, isn't it? So I like to keep this really kind of simple. There's that D, hear that resolution? Here it comes. On that D. Notice when it comes to the end of that section, by hitting that D, it matches what the chords are doing, which is really nice. And that's something I want you to think about. One more thing on this solo, which I thought some of you would find quite interesting. Oh, by the way, I nearly did that intro, Annie. The G major pentatonic scale. It's the My Girl riff, isn't it? What was I going to say? Sorry, I went off piece there. Another thing that you can do with these solos to kind of expand them out. Say you've been soloing a lot in C. A lot of people know how to solo in C. It feels relatively comfortable. Most of us know our C major scale, right? Well, if you think about scales in comparison to each other, a G major scale is exactly the same as the C major scale, only it has an F sharp rather than an F. If you think about it, every scale in the world has a certain amount of sharps and flats, doesn't it? C major has none, so that's why I use it as my comparison one. And F, for instance, has 1 flat, a B flat. So you could think of F as the same as the C major scale, only every time you play a B flat. That means if you know the C major scale, you can add some of those non-pentatonic notes, some of those notes in between the 7 notes of the scale, and you can really kind of expand into it, which would be really, really nice. The only thing you've got to think is every time there's an F, just move it up so you play an F sharp instead. So try and avoid this F up here, take it up 1 to an F sharp. This one here will take up to an F sharp here. So you could play the C major scale, but just think every time I hit an F, it's going to be an F sharp. Just something to think about. All right, just food for thought, those of you that are doing a solo on this one. Let's have a go. Let's have a go then. Oh, and by the way, there's another. Karen's done a lovely diagram down the bottom at the end of each chorus, where it resolves to the G eventually, where we do "I really don't know love at all." When it resolves to a G, we're going to put at the end of each chorus. You can add that G suspended note in the 3rd fret of the A string if you want to make this one sound beautiful. All right, let's have a go. I think we'll be all right. I'll stay here so you can see this one. Yeah, I'll stay here. And then if anyone struggles, let me know and we'll do next one with close count. All right. Nice and slow. By the way, those of you that know me or know ideas, if I'm looking off in that direction, it's just because I don't know the words to this off by heart. I should do, because I've listened to it probably about 100 million times. Okay, here we go. Let's just do the chords to a whole verse to get us going. 2, 3, 4. G, A minor, C, G, G, G major 7, C, G, G, C, A minor, finger off at A minor 7, and a D. Now we'll go from the top. Oh, some flows of angel hair and ice cream castles in the air and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. I really don't know clouds at all. Back to another verse. Here we go. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels and dizzy dancing way you feel, and every fairy tale comes real. I've looked at love that way. Of course, no verse, but now it's just another show. Sorry guys. You leave them laughing when you go, and if you care, don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. Here's the chorus. I've looked at love from both sides now, from give and take, and still somehow it's love solutions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Take a solo, verse chords. Now a chorus. Keep that solo going, guys. G, C, G, minor, bring it down, we'll do another verse. Tears and fears, I'm feeling proud to say I love you right out loud. Dreams and schemes and circus crowds, I've looked at life that way. But now old friends are acting strange. They shake their heads and say I changed. Well, something's lost, but something's gained in every living day. Here's our chorus. I've looked at life from both sides now, from win and lose, and still somehow it's life's illusion I recall. I really don't know love at all. One more chorus. I've looked at life from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's life's illusions I recall. I really don't know love at all. Oh man, that's so beautiful. I love that song. As I say, it's a lot more beautiful when Joni sings it. But let me know how you got on with that, because it's got some tricky chords in, and some really interesting things happening. I'd love to know if you had to go at a solo as well. It'd be really nice to know how you got on with that one. Just let me know. So yeah, cool. Thanks, Esther. That's good. That's good to know. Good to know. Can really get into nitty gritty tonight, can't we? Thanks, John. So yeah, absolutely beautiful, beautiful song. I actually do like Judy Collins' version as well, but you can't beat Esther singing her own song, can you? It's just absolutely beautiful. So next up, we're going to have a look at "Turn, Turn, Turn" by the Beatles. So hopefully you're kind of starting to see how interlinked all these things were, and how what a fertile kind of time and community that Laurel Canyon was. Just 10 minutes from Sunset Strip, but all these artists, creating these beautiful, beautiful pieces of work. I kind of like to think of each of them encouraging them on. There's this really lovely moment in that documentary that I talked about, where David Crosby talks about sitting in Jodi Mitchell's back garden, and they're all playing, and Jodi Mitchell's playing guitar, and she's doing it in an open tuning. And Eric Clapton, it shows you a picture of him. He's just sat in front of her looking completely transfixed, but a little bit confused as well, because he'd never played in that open tuning before and he didn't know what's going on. And I love that. I love that, like, yeah, Jade is like, giving it to Eric Clapton. And I just think it's brilliant. And maybe it gave him some kind of inspiration, who knows. But of course, so David Crosby produced Joni Mitchell's first album. So the very first Joni Mitchell album was produced by David Crosby, and he actually says that he didn't do too much with it. He wanted to not muck about with it, to keep it pure to Jodi's guitar and voice. And then, as I say, David Crosby met up with Graham Nash, who was going out with Jodi Mitchell. The other way around first. I think he met David and then Jodi. But yeah, it's all so interlinked. So, of course, David Crosby first moved to Laurel Canyon with Jim McGuinn from the Byrds, so when he was still in the Byrds. So I thought it'd be nice to do a classic Byrds song as well. So, yeah. Mamas and Papas might have done that one as well. I'm not sure, actually, Indrani. We've got a Mamas and Papas coming up in a bit, so that'd be cool. Don't worry, Karen. I'm an expert at soloing badly, so don't worry, it's all good. just takes a while sometimes, didn't it? Some of you found it hard to get the groove. There's not much groove to that song at all, is it? It's kind of like a gently flowing river, so it is quite hard to find that groove sometimes. But yeah, nice one, Bev. Did well doing the chords. Fantastic, brilliant. Yeah, cool. Yeah, so I was just gonna talk about that, Peter. Actually, yeah, you're dead right. Sorry, I'll bring that back, Peter. So this was actually a Pete Seeger song. So a lot of people don't realise how much of the Byrds were covers. Of course, a lot of the Byrds' earliest stuff was Bob Dylan songs, who was also influenced by Pete Seeger, interestingly. So this was written in 1959. I've got written down, Peter. Pete Seeger song, 1959. And the Byrds covered it in 1965. That was their version. Kind of gave it a slightly different groove, obviously, from the Pete Seeger one. Took it out of 2/4 into 4/4 timing, which is what they did with a lot of Bob Dylan songs as well. And this one features the words from the Bible, isn't it? Esther, and you can probably correct me on this because I'm not very good with words from the Bible. Ecclesiastes, the one starting with Ecclesi something. it's from that book. It's from the 3rd chapter of Ecclesiastes. Apparently. So I thought it was one of the Psalms, so that was interesting. What do I know? I got that wrong. But then Pete Seeger put it to music, and it's quite powerful when he did. There are some lyrics in this song that people don't like, and I love it for many reasons. But there's one line where is it? I'm just trying to find it. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. It always makes me sad, that line, because that comes from ritual execution. So it's when people were stoned to death, wasn't it, back in the day? So a time to cast them away and to gather them. And I'm glad that we don't do that anymore, not in this country anyway. So that always makes me sad, but the rest of the words are quite beautiful. And I think it's really lovely that it says that the last bit, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace, I swear it's not too late. So there we go. Got a beautiful message at the end. So yeah, sorry, I'm rambling on. I'm just going to see if I've got any. Oh, that sounds lush, Ben. Nice. I'd love that. I love. I'm a proper pop nerd, and I love hearing stories like that. Could just, yeah, sometimes just sit at somebody's feet and just listen to talk about stuff like that for hours. Okay, right then, let's have a go at this one. This one's relatively simple chords as well. This one, we're back in C, by the way, so hopefully I've got the numbers right again. This one obviously had a bit of my C head on for one of the chords in the second one. So this one, C is going to obviously be our one chord. Then we're going to go to 4 chord, which is just change. Okay. Now this one we have the E minor chord, and I kind of think of E minor as almost like the heartbreak chord. That 3 chord in any key really adds a touch of melancholy. I think the reason it works in this one is because it's passed over quite quickly. Whoops, I'll do that again. C, F, E minor, G. Now that's quite tricky, that first bit, so I'll get you to play it a few times with me, round and round. Just 2 quick beats on each. C, F, E minor, G, C, F, E minor, G. Let's slow that down, play it a few times. C, F, E minor, G, C, F, E minor, G. Alright, that's your opening. The nice thing about that is you'll kind of get used to it because it happens again and again and again, and once you kind of get into a groove of it, it's not too bad. This next lovely little flurry, this 4-1-2-5, is another common. Actually, it's used a lot in jazz music. 4 creates a sense of change. C, and then the D minor, a touch of melancholy. G creates the tension, which is then resolved at 1. Now that's worth getting used to as well. F, C, D minor, G and C, because you'll notice in a minute that happens in the chorus. Let's do a really slow motion version of the verse, just to give you a chance to have a go at this. Come in after 4. I'll keep it go really slow, 2 beats on each chord, and I'm just strumming up and down here, nothing fancy at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, F, E minor, G. Same again. C, F, E minor, G. Then F, C, D minor, G, and C. Quick changes, right? Now this C at the end, if you want to add a sus to it to make it, which is happening in a lot of these pieces, a lot of these kind of folk music from the West Coast folk uses sus chords when you get to the end of a verse or a chorus. And a C sus4, we just take the E note, this open string, and we add our finger to an F note, which is the 4th in the key of C. So at the end of that, you can add that, just, okay, sounds really sweet. So let's try that one more time, okay, from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, F, turn. There is a season, turn, a time to every purpose under heaven. Now the verses are actually the easier of the two, because we just have the 5 chord back to the 1. The 5 creates tension, which is resolved by going to the 1 chord. A time to be born, a time to die, measure of each. A time to plant, time to reap, a time to heal. Then we have this little run again, which I warned you about, the F bit. A time for AIDS under heaven. Now we've left that rest of that line blank when we hit that C. We'll just kind of play it by ear a bit. I think I'll probably just strum 2 measures there, just to give you an idea. Let's try a chorus. A time to come in on the word born, all right? A time to be born, a time to die, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. There we go. Don't worry, Karen, don't worry. It's probably me that did that. Esther will tell you. That's why I'm always blaming me and not Esther, because you guys are just interpreting what I sent you. And sometimes I had somewhere one of my sheets. This is the kind of thing that poor Esther and Karen get, that gets turned into a sheet. My scribbles all over it, so they do very, very well interpreting it. So don't worry if the odd the odd thing goes awry. It's all good. Okay, so that's the verses and choruses, and it just literally just goes chorus verse, chorus verse, chorus verse. And I got this from the from an official site, and what a lot of people think of as the verses are the choruses, and the choruses are the verse. So just do it in the order it's written on the sheet. You'll be absolutely fine. Now on this one, we're going to play in an interlude after the the third chorus, in fact, actually. You'll see it on your sheets. Okay, that'll be on the verse sheet, and you can use your C major pentatonic or A minor pentatonic. All right, there it is, about just up on that line there. And thanks, Karen, for putting some peanuts in. You know how much I love that, so thank you. Get some Snoopy. So for this one, we'll do the C major or A minor pentatonic, and again this one really does resolve down to the C. So let's see, this is only 20 seconds worth, so it won't be too long. I'll try and do a very rudimentary solo and then resolve it down. Did you see at the end there? Sorry, that was a little bit rudimentary, but at the end again, that's the important thing, that when I come back down, that I resolve it to that C at the end. I played a bum note there, so anyone that said they played a terrible solo on the last one, absolutely fine. I hit a few bum notes and it's absolutely fine. All right. So try and resolve down to a C when you're coming out of this piece. And I think we're going to do, let's see, we'll do the chorus chords on this one. So that's your first little section. All right. Because that will take us into a verse afterwards. Let's give it a go. We can do it. We've still got time for another 2 after this, so don't worry, got plenty of time to work through. And I'll pause a little bit more after the next one to give you a little bit of time to take it in. In fact, I think actually I might have time for, yeah, I can't remember if I've got 2 or 3 after this anyway. Okay, here we go. So this one I'm keeping quite a simple up and down. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I actually like that because the birds do it very kind of in a very linear kind of ethereal fashion. So we don't want lots of we don't like that island strum feel, for example. We want this one nice and mellow and simple. So just strum up and down with a wee bit of swing. Okay, let's do one verse just to get us, one chorus, sorry, just to get us going, and then we'll start with a proper chorus. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. Another chorus, here we go. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, and a time to every purpose under heaven. Now a solo verse. Let's solo to a chorus now. Follow me. So C, F minor, G, C, F minor, G, F, C minor, G, and C. Here comes another verse. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time that you may embrace, a time to refrain, fun. Don't worry if you got a little bit lost. I might have gone a little bit off on a tangent there, because I think I said interlude and solo would be one chorus, and I did a verse and a chorus, but hopefully you managed to keep up with that. Quite tricky, that, just in terms of the chord changes. So if you got a bit lost, don't sweat it. You can take that away and work on it yourself, and you can soon piece that one together. Be absolutely fine. It's quite tricky, that the changes are very quite close together, aren't they? So quite tricky. This next song, we've got two more songs, and we're still relatively early, but this next song I really want to spend a little bit of time on. Partly because it's an absolutely kind of stonewall ukulele classic, isn't it? You've probably heard loads and loads of people playing this one. Really beautiful. We're going to do Dream, a Little Dream of Me. And you might say, aha, Matt, that's not a Laurel Canyon song, because it was written a long time before all those hippies moved into Laurel Canyon. And it was indeed written in 1931, this one. It's a really old jazz classic. But it was covered, I've got the date written down, in 1968 by Mama Cass, just after she broke up with the Mamas and the Papas. And sadly, not all that long before she died, because she died very young. But she recorded a beautiful version of it, and I think that's the one that a lot of ukulele players think of when they play this. I certainly do. And the chords in it are absolutely beautiful. It's really trad jazz. We're also going to look at another skill on soloing for this one, so we're going to take a little bit more time. There we go. Right, so let's have a look. Esther says she's just pooed on Matt's Kanikapila. Don't worry. That sounds worse than it is. It's because she accidentally did the brown poo shape. So yeah. Oh my goodness, we're all nuts here, aren't we? And I think I'm the worst of all. Right, I'm just having a look back and seeing what everyone's been writing. So yeah. Snoopy does indeed rock. There we go. Don't worry, Esther, you're fine. I was a bit scared when I saw that you just pooed on my Kanikapila. I had all sorts of images, but I see what you did. It's all good. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at this one. Really take our time. Ben, yeah, absolutely right. There's lots of little tricks to this one that we're gonna look at. Absolutely, for this one. So this one is a bit of a jazz classic. We've got some really beautiful chords, which can be quite tricky, but I'm going to talk you through them. Now, this is one of those rare occasions. I wanted to do this because I really think of this as a Laurel Canyon song, and it's a ukulele classic, like I said. The only thing is, it's not totally in the spirit of Kanikapila, because it would be very hard to do this just on Nashville numbers. So this is a rare occasion where I'm going to say don't concentrate on the Nashville numbers. Think of the chords, and I'll talk you through them. And you'll see they make little patterns on your fretboard, which is quite nice as well. So we're in the key of C, so C is the one chord to start us off. Okay, let's bring up a section and make it a bit bigger on screen so you can see, and I'll come in really close here. For this one, just to get you going, I would suggest just doing simple down strums, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. So let me talk you through the chords, and I'm going to give you loads of options. All right. I know you can't see you can only see a talking mouth, not the rest of my head, but I thought it was important I come in close for this one. All right. Now, couple of ways. C is easy. Now you could play the B7 like this, barring the 2nd fret, one finger here on the 3rd fret of the C string. Okay, be one way of doing it. In fact, that one would be nice if you came from a barred C. You could take that back there if you wanted to. I tend to just do open C just because I find it more comfortable. Or you can do this simplified. It's not simplified. It still contains all the notes out of a B7. It's like an E minor moved up towards your nose. Okay, so C, whoops, C, B7. Now this A flat is quite tricky. I'm going to give you two options. The first is to do it as a bar chord. What we're going to do is we're going to take an F shape, but try playing an F chord with your second and third fingers rather than these two. Try using these two. Now if we took that F shape and we moved it up one, we would have an F sharp or a G flat. If we moved it up another, we'd have another version of a G, and we might use this in a minute. If we move it up one more, we have a G sharp, otherwise known as an A flat. That's the chord we've got there. All right. Now the next chord is a G. So as we just found out, we can play a G by just doing that shape there. So I tend to do this. I do C, B7, A flat here, and then I just pull it back to this G. Okay. Now don't panic if you think, I hate bar chords, I can't do this song. Yes you can, because I've got a cheat. All right, and this really does work and it still sounds cool. For the A flat, what you can do is you can actually just take your G chord, move it up a fret. Now just concentrate your strumming towards the bottom three strings physically. That will give you this A flat. If you accidentally hit the G string, it kind of sounds a little bit pooey, but not horrible, okay? But if you concentrate on those three, you can then pull that back for the G. So that will look like this. Okay, or the original way. Or you could even bar the lot, anyone that's feeling super advanced. B7 like this, and A flat. In terms of economy of movement, that's the easiest way, but it means barring the whole time, which can get a little bit hurty on your hands, can't it? So let's try it out a few times, just those four chords round and round. I'll do the ones that I find most comfortable. You just try whichever you like. 2, 3, 4. C, B7, A flat, and G. Again, C, B7, A flat, and G. One more just to get used to it. Now we call that the backdoor chord. The reason that A flat works, we shouldn't have rightly speaking, we shouldn't have an A flat in the key of C, because C is C, D, E, F, G, A, B. There's no A flat in it. It's called the backdoor chord because it's only a half step away from the G chord. And our ears love the sound of a chord coming back half a step. That's why our ears love the sound of that A flat. And that's why you get away with it. Yeah, Jake Shimabukuro, absolutely, John loves this one here as well. So yeah, it's there you go. It's a cool chord, isn't it? Like you, John, I absolutely love Jake Shimabukuro. So yeah, but remember that A flat, just do the 3-finger one, absolutely fine. When I first started playing ukulele, I always used to da, 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 da. Always used to do it that way, and it's still cool. All right, it still sounds good. All right, next bit is relatively straightforward. Let me just go for it slowly with close-up cam. Then we have C, E7, going backwards round the circle of fifths for anyone that's into your theory here, to A, major, and then A7. Okay, so that looks like this. C, E7, A7. Oh, I took the wrong one off. There you go. Then this is a classic blues and jazz thing to do. We have F for whole measure. Then it flips to its sister minor chord. Pivot on this little finger here to turn around to minor. Then we have C. You can do your cheat A flat if you want, or your full A flat. G and a G7. Let's go really, really, really slow as we go, okay? Just to get used to it. Okay, here we go. Where are we? I'm just moving this over, so there we go. Cool. 2, 3, 4. Slow motion. Stars shining bright above you. And the next two, see? Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. See? Dream a little dream of me. Cheeky G7. Then we go round again. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me, sorry that's me, you miss me. F. While I'm alone, as blue as can be. Now this time we do the second finish. We go C, dream a little. Now we go straight from A flat to G. Dream of me. And an E7 at the end. Okay, there we go. Lovely jubbly. Now this is really cool. That E7 is what we call the 5 of the 5. All right, often called the 5 of the 5. Now, E7 is 5 above an A. A, B, C sharp, D, E. So in the key of A, E7 wants to go back to A. That's why that chord at the end exists, that E7. It's super sweet, right? Because technically, when we go to the next key, we are playing in the key of A. And I think me and Karen might have double bluffed you, Indrani, because that what I think you might think is a mistake down the bottom is purposeful. That G, which says 5 rather than the 7th, is there purposefully as a 5 because the key change, the song is changing at that key. And that 5 is like the 5 of the 1 in C. You'll see in a minute. I think that's right, but we'll see when we get there. You might be talking about something completely different. So yeah, don't worry. Esther's got a little tip for the G as well, which can be useful. Barring the G to get to the G7. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it as well. Yeah, absolutely. Nice one. Right, now this second section, the bridge, is actually more straightforward. And this is a really well-known jazz progression. We've got 1-6-2-5. This is one of the most common of all time. It was popularized by George Gershwin. I got rhythm, I got music. It's just like instantly recognizable. And that's what's going on here. 1-6-2-5. 1 sets you off on a journey. 6, a touch of melancholy. 2 is 5 above the 5, which is 5 above the 1. All that's in my theory class if you're interested. It's an easy way to think about it is you're going backwards around the circle of fifths. Actually, I will show you just quickly because I did want to dig into this one and take a bit of time. I'm just going to bring up the circle of fifths. You can download this in the description, but don't sweat it too much. Just want to show you something. Where is it? If I can bring it back here. So, oh, I've lost my original sheet now. But can you see how after we've done the A, which is just here, we had F sharp, which is round to the right, then a B minor 7, then an E of some kind, wasn't it? It's an E7, yeah. And what we're doing, this is a common thing. This is what George Gershwin popularised. We have the 1 chord here. The 6 is round the corner in the corner of the circle of fifths. Comes back to a B, comes back to an E, comes back to an A. And we call that playing backwards around the circle of fifths. When you play those, everyone wants to resolve to the next one. That's what a 1-6-5 is, basically. It kind of creates a sense of movement that wants to go back to the tonic. Now, I'm going to bring my sheets back. How on earth to play that? Well, actually, this is a lot easier than the verse. So when you get to this bit, you're almost home and dry. Let me just bring it up a sec. Oh, that's the wrong Kanikapila. Who wants to play Take That again? It was a good song, but no, let's go to this one. Hi Anne, hope you're keeping well. Good to see you. Good to see you. Can always catch up later on if you want to go back to the start later on. Just have a look at Dream, a Little Dream of Me. Here it is. Okay, right. So that actually they sound like quite difficult chords, but they're relatively easy. I'll just show you. So you probably all know A, just 2 1 0 0. To get to F sharp from A, just one finger. All you got to do is plonk that third finger down on the E string. B minor 7, just bar the whole of the 2nd fret, and then an E7 back like this. Okay, so this is your stars fading, but I linger on, dear. Same again. Still craving your kiss. Same again. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear. Now it sounds like it's going to go the same. Just saying. But we have that backdoor chord, A flat, which is allowed because it takes us to the G. This. And the 5, the G. Now, that is a 5. It looks like a mistake, but excuse me, guys. That 5 is 5 above the C. So at the moment you hit that G chord, really you're changing key to the key of C again. And that G makes you want to go back to C, which makes you want to hit another verse. It's super clever, isn't it? The E7 in the end of the verse makes you want to go to the bridge, and the G at the end of the bridge makes you want to go back to the verse. I could have made that E7 a 5 thinking about it, couldn't I, in the first section to keep it consistent, but no, that's what's happening. We're going back to the start. Sorry everyone, I've got a really nasty cough at the moment, and if I don't stay hydrated it comes back really bad. I had a sudden realisation today that it's I'm pretty sure it's a result of one of my medications that I take for my blood pressure, because I looked up the side effects and apparently 33% of people get a chronic cough with it, so that explains a lot. Explains why I've had a cough for like 3 months now. Right, enough of my medical problems. Okay, let's have a go putting that together then, piecing that all together. Now the solo for this one, I wanted to talk a bit about solo, didn't I, tonight? And I realise I have been going quite long on this, a long time on this song, so we'll have to be fairly quick on this. But I wanted to show you something about this solo. We're in the key of C, so you can still use your C major and your A flat. Let me just bring this up here, sorry guys. Now, you know when you hear jazz musicians play, they often play chord tones, so it gets a lot more complicated than what we're doing. But you get a lot of notes that are almost slightly discordant, and they flavour it. And those are kind of important, I think, when you do jazz. But there's a bit of a shortcut to doing them. So let's see if we do, I think I've got Dream a Little Dream in C. Let me just check my backing track a second. Yeah, I did. So what we're going to do is we're going to solo over the verse. Now, we can use the C major pentatonic. Have a listen what happens if I just use the pentatonic notes. It sounds nice, but... it's kind of okay, but it sounds a bit too polite. Now have a listen to this. I might get this horribly wrong, but let me try something. did you see how it had a bit more personality and it sounded a bit jazzier? What I was doing is I was playing chromatic notes. That just means one fret after another rather than just sticking to a scale like a pentatonic. And I'm filling in the gaps. And there's this beautiful little trick that I can show you on the A string which really proves this. There's no such thing as a wrong note as long as you resolve it to a right note. I can play every single note on the A string and not make it sound horrible. Have a listen. Hopefully I can. Have a listen. Now I was playing, when I did that solo, I played every single note on the A string. And loads of those notes shouldn't work. They should be quite stinky, right? And kind of stand out. But as long as you resolve that to a right note on a strong beat, when it kind of feels like it really, you know, you're 1, 2, 3, 4, as long as you resolve it there, it adds a flavour. There's a few places you can do this to kind of fill in the gaps and make it sound really nice. Can you see on the A minor pentatonic, same as C major, we have a dot at the 7th and the 10th. That's a really nice way for just filling in the gaps. So when you go up there, try playing 7, 8, 9, 10, or in reverse, something like this. Have a listen. Isn't that nice? You could do it lower down. So have a little experiment filling in those gaps. And I love that in jazz. In fact, I actually prefer people who solo, and sometimes they don't even resolve them. They sound a little bit discordant. I kind of like that in jazz. I prefer it to just the pentatonics. So have a bit of fun with that. Okay, we'll piece it all together. And then don't forget, at the end, we'll give you the answers. I get Karen to give you the answers to these. And I actually, I don't think I've got any of them this week. Karen, yours must be a lot harder than Esther's. I don't think I've got. Oh, actually, I just got one. Yeah, no, sorry, take that back. I got one. Okay, right, let's go back. Here we go. So remember, we're just going to go. We've got 2 verses the first time, then a bridge, then we'll do the interlude, which we're just going to do another verse, and then verse, bridge, verse. Just follow it through. If I'm not on a bridge, I'm on a verse. If I'm not on a verse, I'm on a bridge. Okay. All right. Let's put it all together then. So here we go. Ba 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 ba. Dee, 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 dee. Okay, here we go. Let's take it. I'll do it at a relatively slow pace. Let's give it best. Yeah, kind of Hawaiian. Yeah, you know me. I've got sorry, a lot of Hawaiian influences. Some know my stuff. Right, yeah, that's the one I got, Indrani, the soup one. Sorry, guys, just realised I need one more. So I'm ever so sorry. Oh, coughing fit's on the way, I think. I'll try my best. Right, sorry, let's give it a try. Let's make that smaller. And we'll go for it, okay? So, should we do, let's just do once round the verse with the first finish, just as an introduction. Then we'll do it from the top, including both repeats, all right? So, nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now back to the top. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Back to the top. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me. fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Instrumental. F minor for anyone strumming. C, E flat, G, G7, second verse now. Stars fading up above me. Sa da 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 dee dee behind you. But in your dreams, wherever they be, dream a little dream of me. Oh my goodness, I mucked that up completely. Let's pretend that didn't happen. I got thrown by doing the wrong words and then got completely thrown. Let's go as if we've just come out of the verse, and I'm going to do the sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. All right, going into the final bridge and verse. Sorry, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Then your bridge. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. One more. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams and leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, wherever they be, dream a little dream of me. Oh, guys, I'm so sorry. Do you know what? This always happens without fail. I've said this before, I think, in many of my lessons. When I go wrong personally, and this happens to me whenever I'm on stage, it's when I'm enjoying myself. As soon as I relax and think, oh, this is sounding really nice, and then I start thinking, oh, yeah, I wonder what would happen if I did this. And then suddenly I forget I'm meant to be playing chords and singing, following words. So apologies. I was enjoying myself a bit too much, and then I forgot what I was doing. So yeah, let that be a lesson. Don't enjoy yourself too much. No, allow yourself to go wrong and enjoy yourself as much as you want. I'm just messing. Isn't that lovely though? Those jazz chords are gorgeous. That 1625 and the back door and all that, just absolutely brilliant. I love this as a song. The lyrics, a lot of people say were quite schmaltzy. It's written by Gus Kahn. He did quite a lot of what is now considered the classic American songbook. I'm trying to think, I think I wrote down of another one that he did. Oh yeah, he's the guy that wrote "I'll See You in My Dreams," the lyrics to "I'll See You in My Dreams," which is another one we all love, isn't it? I'll see you in my dreams. Beautiful song. Okay, so let's have a look then. Wasn't just me that got lost. Good. Well done, guys. That was a toughie anyway, wasn't it? I mean, that's hard. That's hard. You'd be glad to know we're going to finish with actually quite an easy one. Honestly, it doesn't look it, but it is really easy. So it's a nice, gentle one. Now, I got told off by Tim for this one. Now, Tim, as you know, he couldn't make it tonight. He gave me pre-warning. He's busy with something else. He's a bit of a music nerd like me. In fact, more so, I think he's a bit of an expert. And he told me off because this was written in the Brill Building in New York. This next song, "Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow?" But I'm going to come back on him slightly, Tim, if you ever watch this back. Because it was, but it was written by Carole King. and she did record it later on a Tapestry album, you know, a famous Tapestry album, with Joni Mitchell. So it was kind of like a Ladies of the Canyon thing. So it does have a lot of Laurel Canyon in it as well. I'm going to stick up for myself there. But Tim was dead right. It was written in the Brill building. Right. Now I've just realised for some reason I don't have the sheet. What have I done with it? Sorry guys. Just trying to find the sheet for that one. I can always use... Ah, there it is. It was just hiding behind another one. So, this one, as I say, written in 1960 in a Brill building for the Shirelles, which was kind of quite an upbeat version, wasn't it? And written with Goffin as well, so it wasn't just Carole King. It's a Goffin and King composition. But then in 1970, I'm just looking at my notes now. You can tell she re-recorded it on Tapestry. That was with Joni Mitchell, and of course James Taylor. James Taylor was another really famous Laurel Canyon resident. So yeah, very Laurel Canyon-esque in the end. I'll stop labouring the point now. This one's it's quite schmaltzy, but I actually think it's really beautiful. And when Carole King did it on Tapestry, she did it really with a really kind of slowed down version. Ah, Ben knows his stuff as well. Love it. Thanks, Ben. Brilliant. Fantastic. After this, by the way, I'll stick around and chat for a little bit, and we'll go through just whilst maybe now actually. Karen, if you're still there, can you give the answers to the quiz at the end? So there's always a bit of a time lag. So by the time Karen's done it, we'll be ready to have a go at this one. So have a look at that one. Okay, a musical bear for a cow and frog as well, which is cool. And you had to find the cowbell, the welly and the pants as well. So yeah, I've only got the soup one so far, Karen. So yeah, we'll see how everyone got on. Okay, right then, let's have a look at what's happening with this one. We're going to play this super slow, a bit like we did with the Joni Mitchell song. We're going to keep it really simple. I love it when Carole King does this just herself at the piano. Now the verses, if you like, are really classic chords. We've got the one chord again to set us off. Tonight you're mine. The F just gives a little bit of change completely, and then the 5 creates that tension, right? It's like asking a question, which is then answered by going back to 1. You give your love so sweetly. Now the G7 creates another question. Dominant chords always feel like they're creating a question. Then we have an E7. This should be an E minor really in the key of C. So we're using what we call a secondary dominant chord. And that's because the E7 is 5 above an A. And if you look at next chord, it's an A minor. That's why that bit works. Don't sweat the theory too much, but it gives a lovely bit of tension. Tonight's the night. Then A minor, the love is in your eyes. Now you can just stay on A minor for a whole other measure there. But if you want to be fancy pants, there's a single G chord that comes in just at the end to create a bit of tension. So when you strum that first A minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right at the end of that measure we have a cheeky G. Then we go to the 4 chord. Will you still 5 love me? Classic resolution to the C tomorrow. Now, because the first verse we want to go back to another C, we have another G, which asks the question, right? The 5 of the 5, the power of the 5. That makes you want to go back to the start. The second time, or any other time we go through that verse, we don't have that in because we want to go to an F chord, and the C is 5 above the F, so that's why it wants to go there. Let's just try, ever so quickly, just try the chords to this one quickly, just for the verse. Tonight you're mine, completely. is in your eyes. 2, 3, G. Will you still love me tomorrow? Then we go back to the top for another round. The second time we just hit that C, which is nice. Right, so I'll come back to these comments at the end because I realise I've run out of time a bit, but I'll see these in a minute. Now remember, the bridge of a song often starts with the 4 chord because we call that the change chord, and in the key of C, C, D, E, F. F is the change chord, and my regular Kanikapilas, you'll know that happens all the time, doesn't it? This is no exception. We have this here. Where are we? Tonight with words unspoken. Now that E minor, I hinted at this in an earlier song. The 3 chord in any song I call the heartbreak chord. Whenever it comes in, gosh, it pulls at the heartstrings. It should do. It should make you feel really kind of almost angsty, but very sad and emotional anyway. And it's really powerful, and it works here really beautifully. Tonight with words unspoken. For me, that just really raises the odds. Then we're back to standard 4-5-1. You say that I'm the you say that I'm the only one. Yeah. Then we repeat the F to E minor. But will my heart be broken? Such a sad sounding chord. And then we have another touch of melancholy, A minor, to a D, which is lovely. The 2 chord is normally a D minor, but we're playing it as a major because it makes you want to go to the G, which kind of feels like it's resolving because it comes from the D. D is 5 above G. Anytime a chord is 5 above the one that follows it, it makes you want to feel that resolution. But then a G is asking you a question which wants to go right back to the start to the C. I'd like to know that your love, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, I'm not going to play a solo here just because I think we're running out of time. So let's just play it straight through, just verse, verse, bridge, verse. It's really a beautiful song, and there wasn't a solo in Carole King's one, not the live version that I watched before I did this anyway. So let's give it a try from the top, and then I'll stick around for questions and see how you've all got on. Here we go. Let's just roll a C to get us going rather than an introduction. Just a nice gentle walk running pattern here. Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes. Will you still love me tomorrow? Back to the top. Is this a lasting treasure, or just a moment's pleasure? Can I believe the magic of your sighs too great? Will you still love me still love me tomorrow. That's a pretty song, isn't it? I love the Shirelles version as well. Got that kind of upbeat thing going on, but yeah, this sounds really, really sweet. So yeah, that's it. Nice. Let's see how everyone's got on then. So I'll stay for a good 10 minutes or so. See how you've all got on with that. I'm here for any questions you've got. Remember, it doesn't always have to be related to the Kanikapila stuff. If you've got a uke question, that's something you've been struggling with, and you want my help, use my time, and I'll see if I can help you. So yeah. So did Karen give the answers yet? I don't think. Let's have a look. She's probably enjoying playing the song too much to give us the answers. Karen, if you're there though, give us the answers to the rebuses. Put me out of my misery, Karen. Okay. Esther, let's have a look. Anne was asking how to strum on Dream a Little Dream of Me. Yeah, cool. There's a few different options for this one, Anne, actually, depending on how you want to play it. Let me just bring it up. There's the opportunity to do a really nice jazz strum that I quite often like to do. Just bring it up so I can remind myself of the chords. Save me searching through my sheets. So one of the things that I like to do with these is, first off, just start with 4 really simple down strums with your thumb. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So every beat gets a strum. And I like the mellowness that you get with the pad of your thumb for that. It gives it a nice mellowness. What I then like to do to kind of build that up to make it a bit more interesting is I'll quite often do what I call the thumb and strum. This is kind of like this thing I'm sure I'm not the first person to do this, but I call it Matt's thumb and strum because I kind of patented it because I use it on a lot of jazz stuff. A really nice thing to do is to strum with the nail or the pad of your thumb quite warmly where the body of the uke meets the neck. See how warm that can be if I use the middle part of my nail. And then I follow it down with my nails strummed, but quite light and fast, like this. See how you get the difference in timbre? Warm, followed by a light, brittle sound. If you pair that up, I'll just stay on a C chord. See how the second strum's almost like an echo? That can be really nice. I tried the chords to the bridge because they're a bit easier because they're the same ones, aren't they? That would sound like this. See how you get that? It's almost like a call and response. That gives you that, where is it? I can't remember the words to that bit. It's the easy bit, isn't it? Where are we? There we go. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, just craving your kiss. And then if you want to jazz that up at any point, you could add a few little quick up downs like this. Still craving your kiss. Just to kind of add a little bit more in. But honestly, for this one, I tend to keep this really simple. I actually like it just to swing down and up strum. All I'm doing there is just strumming up and down. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. 1. I'll do it from the same bit. Save me trying to remember all the chords. I'm just coming up and down with a slight swing. Now, if anyone's into they're like getting a little bit more sophisticated with that, sometimes I like to add a little bit of emphasis on the beats 2 and 4 as I'm doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how that kind of that kind of that brings a little bit more drama to it. And that's it. That's all I like for that one, Anne. I tend to think on ukulele it sounds really nice with the strum, and then if you want a bit of variety, you could try that bit on the B section. All right, so yeah, nice. Glad to help, and that's what I'm here for. And thanks, Esther, for bringing that to my attention. Esther always spots any questions and gives me some hashtag signs, so I know that I need to pay attention. Cool. Right, let's see how we got on with these rebuses. Let me bring it up on screen. So let's see. Esther, why are they called rebuses? Is that like the person that first? I'm probably being daft, and there's something really obvious, or is that the person it's named after? So I hadn't heard of that until you explained that to me. So there we go. So what have we got then? So we've got some answers here, just in case anyone's not following the live chat. Let's have a look. Esther, yeah, I'll show you the Kinnard in a minute as well. Yeah, no problem. Let's have a look. Ah, going up in smoke. Ah, because go is like upwards in the smoke. Going up in smoke. That's really good. I like that. Life begins at 40. Yeah. Split pea soup. Yeah, that was the one that I did get. So yeah. Ah, thanks, Mike. I love my more better. If there's a fire in the Stead household, it goes wife and kids, this ukulele, and then one of my guitars. No, maybe photo albums just come between the kids and the ukulele, but then this one. I love it. It's excuse me. Well, he called it coconuts because he was being a bit cheeky because of the headstock. But coconuts, when you drink the milk, it's so pure when you get it off the palm tree that in the Second World War, they actually used coconut milk for blood transfusions when they ran out of blood for the injured soldiers. Isn't that mad? In the Southern Seas. Got the beautiful inlay that Chuck did there. And then you've got your palm trees, and it's even got the gulls as well, which is really cool, isn't it? He's a clever man, Chuck Moore. Okay, so yeah, let me just grab the let me just grab the Kinnard. Just whilst I'm doing that, guys, don't forget our Facebook forum. Karen has written a little reminder of it on your final sheet. If you want to follow the link, here it is. So you can look us up. It's called the Uke Students Hangout, and then sorry, this always plays up at the end for some reason. It's called the Uke Student Hangout, Matt Stead Ukulele. So it's for any of my students, well, for anyone that's interested in ukulele, really, but I aim it towards my students so I can tell you what's going on YouTube and physical lessons and all sorts. But it's a really welcoming environment where you can post videos, and I love it when people do ones from Kanikapila that we've done. We've had lots recently, haven't we, off Karen and Lisa and lots of other people in Johnny, and too many to mention, loads, which has been brilliant. And then the live lessons as well and things like that. But anything you might be working on, it's really nice to post it. And there's also a challenge every few weeks as well that Karen Indrani and Esther come up with. A mission possible, where they give you a mission, should you choose to accept it, something that's possible, and you can follow that mission and post your kind of entries on the site. And as I say, it's all kind of really warm and supportive. So just have a look on there. If you haven't already subscribed, have a look. And don't forget to answer the questions at the start. It'll ask you 3 questions. It's not even like quiz questions. It's just like, do you agree to abide by the rules and do you enjoy ukulele? So, but it's just to stop any robots getting on there. Because some of these groups get ruined by spam bots posting horrible stuff. So we've got them there just to keep you all safe and keep the bots out and the spammers and all that. So yeah, get on there and have a look. In the meantime, let me just grab Kinnard. Terrible joke for the Brits. I always think that Kinnard uke Sounds like a Scottish person saying they're very strong. Kinard. That's all I was. It's terrible. I'm so sorry. He's Kinard, he is. This is made by John S. Kinard, who was, I can't say it now, he's an absolute amazing luthier from the States, from Fallbrook, California. It says it on the label there. And this is model number 92028. Beautiful concert in redwood, a really unusual top to get on a ukulele, but features in a lot of custom ukes because it has a real warmth to it. And mahogany back and sides. And the person, this really, really lovely guy called Andrew Elliott, he decided that he wanted to give it away to charity. Originally, we were going to sell it in the shop. I've had a few of his ukuleles. In fact, that's where I got the More Better from, if you're interested. And he decided he'd like to donate the proceeds of it to charity. So what we've got is a live auction happening, and it's only going for about another week or so, I think. I'll have to check dates. And you can basically put a silent bid on it. So email me at matt@theukeroom.com. Try and put the Kinard in the title just so I spot it, because I get a bit overwhelmed with emails sometimes. And you can put a bid in, anything you want. I will say the current bid's quite high. It's at £2,200, so it's not to be sniffed at. But originally this would have been over £3,000 new, so it's still actually really, really great value. Beautiful, beautiful uke. Got a lovely. John was playing this in the week, and John was last week, I think it was, or the week before, and John was saying how it kind of. It almost sounds more like a tenor than a concert. It's got a real punch to it. Really nice ukulele. So yeah, if you're interested, pop a bid on, and all of the proceeds are going to Mind. It's a charity that I've campaigned and raised money for in the past, and it's the UK's mental health charity, and it's something that I feel really passionate about. I'm hoping in the summer, depending on whether I'm able to with commitments and everything, I'm hoping to do another charity walk, and I was thinking of doing it for Mind this year. So it might be a bumper year for Mind from the Uke Room. But yeah, all the proceeds go into charity, which is fantastic. So yeah, really powerful, really beautiful. Just the detail on it is lovely. The way the neck, can't really get that on in the light. Oh, there it is. Can you see the way that kind of chamfers into the headstock? I just love that, and how clean it is. That headstock's just so clean and crisp, with a really beautiful thin layer of ebony on the top. Just absolutely gorgeous. I think it's a beautiful one. So yeah, really fun trebles. I got a new toy today. Now, out of kindness. Whoops. Some of you know Phil Davidson, who I've been building my ukulele with. In fact, that one behind me, that one I built with Phil Davidson, my first ukulele. And Phil came to visit me today, and I've been kind of trying my hand at mandolin. Not very good yet. I only know like a couple of chords. Oh, it needs a bit of a tuning up. But he's so kind. He came in and he's like, "I've got a gift for you." And I open the box, and it's this beautiful vintage mandolin. We think it's Romanian. And it's really cool. It's got these little kind of like sound holes. I've never seen these before like that. You know, like get a sound hole on the ukulele. I think that's what that's for, unless it's for a strap. I'm not sure. But it's got the guy's signature on and everything. But isn't that lovely? It's like Phil's done so much for me. He taught me how to make ukuleles and didn't charge me for any of his time or materials. That entire ukulele he gave me all the wood for and taught me how to make it, which I'm really really grateful for. And I've got a ukulele, I've got a mandolin. So that's going to be my project over the next few weeks. I'm going to see if I can teach myself mandolin. Hopefully I'll get there. So yeah. So that's my new little toy. I'll put it away and I'm going to say goodbye. There we go. Okay. Okay. And Bev, that's your forest ukulele behind me as well. There you go. I'm hoping to post that off to you tomorrow. So that'll be on its way shortly, Bev. So let's put all this stuff away. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Just a couple of reminders. If anyone wanted to support the channel just to help cover running costs and everything, you should have seen my heating bill this week. My it sounds like I'm begging now. I promise I'm not. My boiler's bust at home, so I've put the heating right up here to keep me toasty. So when I go home, I'm not freezing cold. And then I got my bill yesterday, and it was like I nearly cried. Honestly, in the UK, it's just gone nuts. I don't know. I know it's not the same, is it, across Europe? It might be the same in America, but when I started here, this really small unit, my electricity was £30 a month, which is nothing, is it? It's amazing. It's now £245 a month. That's what's happened in the UK. It is absolutely mad over here. It's like the economy has just lost its mind. But anyway, but you guys keep me going. So, and if you want to, there's the PayPal link down there, or there's links in the description where you can get me a virtual high five and a virtual cup of coffee. The reason I don't need to beg you guys, and I promise I'm really not doing that because I hate like fishers and what do you call them? What are they called? What do people call them? Shallows, something. There's a word for it, isn't it? I hate all that, but the reason I don't have to is because you guys are already incredibly generous. So thank you. You've really supported me over the last year, and it keeps me going. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all your support. And if you're not able to donate, that's totally fine as well. I just love you being here and taking part, and it's brilliant. I love our little community, so thank you. And thank you to everyone that's helped me as well. So Esther, who's been doing the sheets for months now. Karen, who stepped in whilst Esther's been in a bit in recovery, and Indrani comes up with lots of ideas, and the three of them really help run the Facebook group as well when I'm teaching and I'm not able to see everything. So thank you guys. I really appreciate all your help, and then all of you lot for spreading the word as well. That's a massive thing for me. Is just bringing new people along, which is fantastic. So thank you for your support and just all your lovely messages and being here. It's really great. So I think that's it for today. Don't forget on Wednesday we have my next live lesson, which I'm super excited about. We're going to jazz up the blues. 3 o'clock Wednesday afternoon UK time. And if you can't make it, remember all of these live lessons are listed on my website, Stead Ukulele, where you can follow them all, and you'll find all the old previous Kanikapilas and all the courses and everything as well. So that's this Wednesday, 3:30 UK time. I'm really excited about this one. I can't wait to see some of you guys there. So yeah, fantastic. We still got, I think, like we're in the very low single digits now of the retreat as well. If anyone is interested in coming over, we've got our forest ukulele retreat this at the end of June and July. Guys, I absolutely can't wait for this. I'm so excited. Some of you, even like Esther, right? We've not met in person. It's mad. It's just like mad. I feel like I've known you all my life and we've not even met yet. So I'm excited. Loads of you we're gonna meet for the first time. Those of you that I already know and we've met, we're gonna get back together and have an amazing time. So come and enjoy this. It's gonna be absolutely brilliant. And yeah, thank you for a really lovely evening. I'll leave you with one more photo that I took last week of, is it coming? Is it coming? Whee! It's a kestrel. So we've had, as well as the butterfly, which is my first butterfly of the year, I spotted this kestrel last week, and it's not the clearest photo because it's sat right at the top of a really tall tree, and what it does, it sits up there for about, I reckon, a good 20 minutes, half hour every few days, and it watches for its lunch because it's super high. The next thing it does, almost always, you can almost time it by clockwork, is it notices when there's a flock of birds in the tea garden next to where the tea room is, it flies down to the next lowest tree. This little kind of Not sure what type of tree it is actually. It might be an elm we've got next to the tea rooms, and it sits there in the lower branches. And then as soon as it spots its prey, you see it go down straight onto the floor, grabs its lunch from the garden, normally a songbird, which kind of makes me sad, but you know, it's going to have babies to feed this spring, isn't it? So everything's got to eat. So yeah, that's my kestrel for the week. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for all your support. Thank you, everyone, and we will. Oh yeah, sorry, I missed loads of messages. I'm so sorry. Oh, thanks. Everyone's saying nice things about the mandolin. Yeah, Ben, a bit of a nightmare. This last week, everything's gone kaput. But I've got a man coming to fix it Wednesday, and my car's going into the garage tomorrow. So fingers crossed, we'll be all right. So yeah, thank you. Oh, thanks, Mike. Thanks, guys. Sheila, that was it. Karen, that was it. Oh, you're all so lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Energy costs way up in America as well. It's just nuts, isn't it? So doesn't it feel like the world's gone a bit mad? Anyway, on a positive, I will see loads of you on Wednesday, and we'll be back next Monday. We're going to do love songs for Valentine's Day. I know it's a bit cheesy, but who can resist? They're going to be lovely, tasteful ones. They'll be all right. Well, take care, everyone, and much love. And I will catch you up either this Wednesday or next Monday. Take care. Bye.